Hello Taurus, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings, and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone, so do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation, and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading, booking a personal reading or coaching session with me, or on my upcoming workshop is in the description box below, and there will be more information on that workshop at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. All right, Taurus, let's jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So let's start by looking at your recent past, Taurus. What has Taurus been dealing with as of recently? Ooh. Adjustments are required. Step out of your comfort zone. Your commitment is being tested with nothing will come of this situation. What do you need to release? It feels like you hit some sort of a dead end with a path. I don't necessarily know what happened or what came of it, but I do know that something pushed you out of your comfort zone. It feels like you got to a place where you weren't making progress, or the outcome wasn't happening, or just in general, there was a like almost feel like it's like running into a brick wall over and over again until like your car can't anymore, kind of thing. Trying to make something happen, trying to make something work, putting in all that you can to it, but then all that you can into it, but then eventually getting to a point where you're like, okay, this isn't working, something's got to give. Now, I feel like this either was your decision to get pushed out of your comfort zone, meaning you got to a place where you were like, okay, this isn't working, something's got to give, I got to make a change, or something happened that pushed you out of your comfort zone because this wasn't going anywhere. Now, when I say it wasn't going anywhere, I mean, I think that there's an outcome that you deserve, whether it's the love that you deserve, the success that you deserve, and whatever path you were on or whatever situation you were trying to find that through wasn't capable of being what it is that you ultimately deserve. So this isn't the universe taking away an opportunity. It's the universe moving you toward an opportunity, something that aligns more with the outcome that you do truly desire. Current energy for Taurus, but that doesn't make it easy, right? Like any kind of shift or redirection, because that's what this is. It feels like divine redirection, but any kind of shift or divine redirection is really difficult. There's a lot of fear involved. There's a lot of doubt and second guessing and all of the things. And it's part of the process, to be honest with you. And I know that might not be what you want to hear, but I do feel like this is happening for the best in some way, shape, or form. But let's see. Take time to breathe out. And then you have a new start is coming on the bottom of the deck, but I want to pull one more. Your dreams need a practical plan. Ah, yes. Okay. So it feels like whatever this was in some way, and this is, because they're the answers you need are coming, and you and your loved ones are safe. In some way, this energy in your recent past was an energy of, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to elaborate on it, okay, because it might sound a little bit aggressive at first, but it feels like settling for less than your true potential, less than what's really possible for you. Now, at the time, it probably didn't feel like that. It probably felt like, whatever you were pursuing or whatever path you were on, you were hoping that that was going to take you to whatever it is that you desired. And you're not wrong in the desire that you have. I just feel like there's this just redirection of path, like almost like you were using the wrong map to get to some sort of destination, like an outdated map or an unaligned map. And I feel like now you're in kind of this in-between phase, like, okay, this didn't work, but like, where do I go from here? And you're feeling a little bit lost right now with the answers you need are coming. And that's natural and that's normal. But I don't think you're as lost as you think that you are. I think that you're in kind of dealing with the wreckage of like what didn't work, kind of closing out past cycles and trying to figure out what's next. And that doesn't mean you're lost. It means that you're discovering, you're figuring yourself out. You're figuring out your next step. Then you have, like I said, this answers you need are coming card. So I do feel like the right answers are going to come at the right time to get you to where you're trying to go. And then the underlying you have here is you and your loved ones are safe. So knowing that you are safe, you are protected, things are working out better than you think, like this is all good news. It doesn't necessarily mean that it feels good, right, what you're going through. And I don't want to downplay what it is that you're going through and just, I don't want to be like, oh, just relax, it's all fine, because you're a human being having a very real human experience, and that experience is valid. So your emotions are valid, your feelings are valid, your perspective is valid, but I do feel like Spirit is asking you to have a little bit of faith that things are working out a little bit better than you might think, which has kind of just been a theme recently in the last few months, honestly. Okay, what does Taurus need to know moving forward? Not just for you, Taurus, but just for the collective in general. But let's see. What does Taurus need to know moving forward? I have like a love-hate relationship with this card. I'll explain it in a second. I feel like there's one more here. Communication is key. Believe in the impossible. Okay. So this is the card I have a love-hate relationship with, is your commitment is being tested. Because I hate this idea that the universe tests us. The universe puts us through like tests to see if we're going to pass or fail. That's not how I've come to view it and understand it, because I feel like that puts this you against the universe kind of mentality in your head, and that, the universe is on your side. However, sometimes when we're moving toward different experiences, when we're walking away from what isn't serving us and we're starting something new, we are going to have to face the limiting beliefs, the fear, the doubt, the insecurity that held us back in the first place. And our commitment to believing that we are worthy, deserving, capable, and supported has to be stronger than that fear, doubt, insecurity, because that fear, doubt, and insecurity is going to naturally arise. The reason that we hold on to what doesn't serve us, or we try to make something work, even if it isn't fully fulfilling for us, is because we're afraid that we can't have something better. We're afraid that we're not worthy and deserving of more. We're afraid that we're not supported, right? And that fear is natural. It's normal. It's a human response to a very unpredictable world. But that is why having faith in a bigger picture and the belief that you are being supported by something bigger than you is so incredibly important. And I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what you call it, God, spirit, higher self, divine, your ancestors, whatever it is, whatever resonates with you, spirit guides, it doesn't matter. As long as you have faith that you are being supported, guided, and protected. And I feel like that's what you're really needing right now, because you do also have this communication is key, right? With believe in the impossible. And I feel like communicating with a spiritual connection of your own understanding is what's going to help you find your way. Because right now I feel like there's a lot of fog surrounding you. There's a lot of heaviness in the air. There's a lot of, again, fear, doubt, insecurity, grief, maybe even if you're dealing with the loss of something. And all of that is going to really cloud your judgment, but that's natural and that's normal. So the more that you're connected with a spiritual connection, the more that you're going to be able to navigate through that without letting the fear win. And I feel like that's what this period of your life is about. And to know that you're making more progress than you think. So much of the time we don't see the progress outside of ourselves, but we're making progress within through our healing, through our growth. That progress is going to pay off. And I feel like you'll really see that as you step into this energy in the future. So let's break this down even further. We're going to get an overall theme of this reading. I feel like this card is really, it's obviously for you guys too, but it's also for me, just to help me get an idea of what the core message of this reading is, what Spirit is trying to bring through, what you're needing to know about what you're going through, what you're dealing with. So that is what we are pulling with this card, the overall theme of this reading, the Taurus. Stormy, and that's the cloudiness that I'm feeling in the divine feminine. Ooh, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine within us, and then you have trust. Okay, so you don't have to, what I was getting at with that is you do not have to be a female for this to be your message. Divine feminine energy is all about intuition and what we believe we're worthy of receiving. I could go into so much depth about divine feminine energy, but I don't feel like that's actually necessary for this reading. I feel like this is about healing certain parts of you that have been taught that you are deserving of less, that you have been taught that you're not capable of love, or that you're not capable of success, or that you're not, deserving of fulfillment. Like, that's what this period is about. Now, obviously, you're going through a pretty difficult time right here. And then you have this trust card, and this trust, I really actually very much like the way that this imagery on this card is portrayed with trust, is because, like, if you look around, like, things feel dark, right? This is kind of that stormy energy that I was talking about. And I literally said this. I said, there's a lot surrounding you right now, and this kind of like cloudy energy that you're in, the fear, the doubt, the insecurity, the second guessing, like all of that you're dealing with. And this right here, this clarity, this is trust in a spiritual connection of your own understanding. This is that clarity that happens when you look within you instead of trying to look outside of you. So right now is a time to really go within and to look at the parts of you, again, that have been taught that you're unworthy, that you're undeserving. Because I feel like certain situations in the past, especially the ones that you were asked to kind of like step away from, or that the universe is pushing you out of, was a reflection of less than what you deserve. And going within and starting to identify that is going to help you in stepping into what it is that you do truly deserve. So I feel like, again, this all feels like good news. Like the reading feels very optimistic, very positive. What you're going through right now doesn't feel as optimistic and positive. And a lot of times, like, that's what those periods of our life are about, right? Like, faith is forged in the fire. And it's not to glorify the difficult periods of our life, but to give them meaning and to understand that, like, everything really does happen for a reason. And when we're willing to kind of embrace all that we're experiencing in the present moment, we find, that meaning, and then we use that to move forward in better ways than we wouldn't have been able to if we hadn't gone through that. I feel like that's what this is about. Okay, so what does Taurus need to know about this past energy? Step out of your comfort zone. Adjustments are required. What was Taurus dealing with in this recent past energy? Eight of Cups, literally. So walking away from something either by choice or because you had to. Either way, I feel like there might have been this feeling of closing out a journey whenever some sort of, I don't know if it's a cycle that ended, I don't know what exactly happened, but I feel like what you don't realize is you've actually started a journey back to yourself, back to your worthiness and then your deservingness and your lovableness. Separation from something, yeah, that's very clear. I'm actually interested why that came out twice. Knight of Cups in reverse, very, very, yeah, because there's the death. So definitely an ending to a relationship, a cycle, a path of some sort. What does Taurus need to know about this, though? So that's what you were dealing with, which is, I guess, technically what I asked. So what does Taurus need to know about this? Ten of Wands. This was holding you back. This was holding you back. Taurus, what you don't realize is that you're actually stepping into more potential here. Yeah. King of Wands in reverse, a lack of action because of a lack of confidence, a lack of believing in yourself, a lack of trusting in your worthiness, your deservingness, your capabilities. Oh, Taurus, okay. Yeah, there's the Three of Wands. Taurus, you're stepping into a very powerful energy. Now, obviously, we're looking at your past energy, but seeing the purpose behind it, right? You have this Ten of Wands. Something in your life was really holding you back, was keeping you attached almost to a lesser life, less finances, less love, less abundance, less fulfillment. And there was also, though, the problem was there was this belief that this path was the only way to your abundance, the love that you deserve, fulfillment, whatever it is, but that actually wasn't true. But because of that attachment, there was this energy of not taking action toward more, because, a lot of times we don't know what's really possible for us. So when something provides a promise of something that we've never experienced before, love, abundance, success, whatever the case is, of course, we're going to give everything we have to making that happen. So this isn't, I don't want you to look at this or listen to this reading and think that I'm saying you did the wrong thing or that you wasted your time or anything like that, because this was necessary. You had to go through this to realize, first and foremost, what isn't going to work and what you don't want, to get clear on what you do want and who you really are. Because if this didn't really align with what you really deserve and you're deserving of more, then what does that even look like, right? That's this period of discovery that you're in. So it's interesting because I feel like it's been a pretty difficult, a pretty painful experience, but I also at the same time feel like it's been very, the word that comes to mind is liberating. It's like liberating you from a certain reality, from a certain level of fulfillment, of abundance, and allowing you the opportunity to create more. Now, for you, you might be going through this feeling of loss, feeling like you've lost an opportunity, like you've lost what's really meant for you, but nothing that is meant for you will ever pass you. And it's so, so important that you remember that right now. I know from experience how hard it is to remember that when you're going through really difficult things. And it doesn't mean that this wasn't meant for you at a certain time. It doesn't mean it was a waste of time. It doesn't mean that you, held yourself back by staying involved. You got to where you needed to be because of this situation. You wouldn't know what you know now. You wouldn't be who you are now if you hadn't gone through these things. So let's see what Taurus needs to know about their current energy. So what is Taurus dealing with in their current energy? Oof, emotions are all over the place. They're running high. Queen of Cups in reverse here. And that's, of course they are, right? Like, of course they are. You're going through a lot. But recognizing, well, first of all, giving your permission to have a lot of emotions. Be angry, grieve, be afraid, like all those things. But you don't have to believe any of those things. There's a lot of loss in your energy. Fear of loss, expectation of lack, a lot of feeling here. A lot of feeling. Ace of Cups. Okay, I don't want to pull more for what you're going through because I kind of see. So what I want to know is, what does Taurus need to know about this energy to really drive this home? Because, I already kind of knew and felt that this is what you were experiencing. You've opened the door for a lot of emotion. What I've learned is sometimes we hold on to what isn't serving us, or we hold on to hope of something working, even though we hit that brick wall over and over and over again, right? Because having that hope of potential is easier than not seeing the potential at all. So when we lose, even if we lose something that doesn't serve us, what's hard isn't necessarily the loss of what we lost, but the loss of the hope of what it could become. And that makes us feel really directionless, because we're like, well, I saw this was a path, and I saw like a path to getting to where I want. I saw a path to love. I saw a path to abundance. I saw a path to success, freedom, whatever the case is. And now that path has been removed from me. So now I don't see a way forward. I don't see a path. Therefore, I'm going to automatically assume that means that there isn't another path, that there isn't a way forward. And that is so natural and so normal, but it's also the number one lie of the human experience. The number one way that we get ourselves stuck is by believing that what is meant for us is behind us, or that something behind us was capable of being better than what's in front of us. And what I mean by that is we always have the opportunity to experience the things that we deserve and desire. Love, fulfillment, happiness, joy, freedom. All of those things are always, the opportunity for those are always available to us. Certain things that haven't worked out in the past are providing us with opportunities to grow, heal, and evolve so we can align more with the things that we desire. So just because there was an opportunity for something that didn't work out, that the opportunity for you to have it at all was not removed from you. You still have that opportunity in the future. However, that doesn't mean you're not going to have to grieve, right? Grief is important. Moving through loss is important. Experiencing all the human emotions that come with what you're going through right now is really important. And honestly, the point. Because if you weren't experiencing what you're going through right now, you wouldn't be able to see that you're deserving and worthy of more. And I think that that's where it's almost like you're kind of going through a little bit of an awakening here, Taurus, awakening to your worth. You might be like, well, I know what I'm worth, and that's why I was trying. You might know it, okay, but you don't know it, because most of our movements, choices, and decisions, the way that we interact with our reality, the things that we experience and the ways that we interact with it come from our subconscious. And 95% of, like I said, are from your subconscious, and that is built on what it is that you've been through. So if you've experienced certain things that have made you feel unlovable and unworthy and not good enough, you might consciously be like, well, I know I'm worthy, I know I'm lovable, and I know I'm good enough. But there's a part of you that doesn't believe that. And that part of you is coming to the surface right now. That you are meeting that part of you. That's what shadow work is all about, is when you meet yourself at a deeper level, when you say hi to that version of yourself that doesn't know your worth, that doesn't know you're lovable, that doesn't know you're deserving. So this is an opportunity to really get into the nitty-gritty of it. So what else does Taurus need to know about what they're going through right now? I don't want to downplay what you're going through, because it seems, just based on the energy, very painful and very difficult and very challenging. So I don't want to take away from that and make you feel as though you shouldn't feel the way that you feel, because you feeling the way that you feel is completely natural and normal. But this is, literally, I said awakening, there's the Hierophant, there's the Seven of Pentacles. I like this with the Judgment in reverse. What you don't realize is that you're, okay, the best way that I can put this, and I talk about myself in my readings, not just to talk about myself for the hell of it, but because I feel like putting it to stories can help me explain better what I'm trying to say, or like what the energies are presenting. There have been so many times in my life where things didn't work out the way that I wanted. And there was one time in particular where this relationship that I swore this person was the love of my life. I thought they were my twin flame for years. I believed this. I felt it on such a deep level. I thought it was intuitive. And this connection had a lot of purpose in my life. I talk about it a lot on this channel, but it was never to provide me with what I deserved. It helped me grow. It helped me heal. It helped me evolve. It helped me step into the person that I am today. But it wasn't the love that I deserved. And now that I have that in the form of my husband, I look back at that and I'm so, so grateful that things didn't work out like I thought that I wanted them to. And that's like, if I could put like an overall theme, I feel like it's like some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. Some of the universe's gifts are unanswered prayers. And I feel like that's why things are so hard for you right now. If there was certain desires that weren't met, but it's not to take you away from what you desire. It's to lead you to more of that. More of what you deserve, more of what you desire. So that's why the trust is so important, right? Because the fear is going to tell you you're never going to be happy again. You're always going to struggle. You're not going to have what you need. The trust is going to tell you, universe got my back. This is happening for a reason. I might not have clarity right now, but I'm going to lean on that trust and I'm going to get to where I'm trying to go at the end of it. Okay, what does Taurus need to know moving forward? Your commitment is being tested with belief in the impossible. What can Taurus expect in this future energy? Okay. So this is like what could be 4 of Cups, 10 of Swords in reverse, 4 of Cups. Interpreted as like that test here, 5 of Wands. So 4 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 4 of Wands, 10 of Swords in reverse, 4 of Cups. 5 of Wands, and then 3 of Cups on the bottom. Okay. I'm going to just let you know that I'm pretty excited for you guys. This is like one of those things that is really, really hard to explain to people who are going through it. But when you get to the other side of it, it becomes incredibly clear. When I was going through the worst period of my life, I was hearing all around me from spiritual advisors that I had connected with, tarot readings, my own intuition, my own connection with spiritual connection, my own understanding that things were happening for a reason and that things were going to turn out better than I could even imagine. But at the time, I was actually getting very angry at this messaging because I could not fathom how what I was going through was happening for a reason. I mean, I literally had so much ripped away from me, from my job to friends to family, and it was the most painful experience of my life. So hearing that it was happening for a reason was something that was so difficult for me, because it just felt like it was a complete diminishing of my experience. But when we get to where certain experiences are taking us, as long as we are willing to navigate with faith, things can always turn out better than we even had hoped that they were going to in the past. That's what this is about. But the key, or the caveat, I guess, is it's going to take your faith to get there. Your faith, your mindset, your belief in yourself, your belief in how supported you are, those things have to be stronger than your fear, than your anxiety, than your insecurity, than your second guessing. Because fear, doubt, insecurity, anxiety, those things don't go away. There will always be a part of you that's going to fear, always be a part of you that's going to be anxious, always going to be a part of you that's going to doubt. But if you can show up in trust, in faith, taking steps, believing that you are worthy, deserving, supported, and guided, you will find yourself in a better position than you started. And that is what this reading is about. How willing you are to believe that this is working out for you in a way that is better than you think. Because there's a lot of people who go through difficult things and they stay stuck in that. They believe that they've lost their opportunity, that the best is behind them. There's no point in moving forward because they're never going to be as happy as they would have been if things had been the way that they had, if the things had been the way that they wanted them to. I know so many people who have gotten stuck in that mentality. I was somebody who got stuck in that place. It happens. When life is hard and it knocks us on our ass, the thought of picking yourself back up and continuing, to believe and to try and to trust, it can almost be like so overwhelming, and you just might be tired of it. I know what that feels like. But the more that you are willing to do that you are willing to dig deep and to say, I am worthy and I am deserving and I'm going to pick myself back up and I'm going to keep on this path and I'm going to trust that the universe has my back and I'm not going to settle for less and I'm going to choose to believe that I'm worthy and deserving of more. You are going to find yourself in a better position than when you started. And I feel like somebody, I don't know why, but this feels a little bit personal, and it feels like somebody really needs to hear this because it's up to you. It's up to you. The things that you've been going through is not a reflection of what you can't have. The universe didn't dangle an opportunity in front of you and take it away just to go, haha, too bad, so sad. The universe didn't do that, okay? The universe is guiding you to believe that you're worthy and deserving of more. But you being willing to navigate this stormy period of your life that you are going through with faith, with belief in yourself, with trust in something bigger than you, that is going to determine the outcome, okay? If you watch my channel, I don't do typical future predictions because there's so many things that play a role into that. And there are so many things in this world that are out of our control. There's so many things that will continue to be out of your control. But what is in your control is how you show up and how much faith you choose to have in each and every moment. And the more that you're willing to lean on that faith, I promise you, the more that you will see the payoff. Okay, I'm going to hop on over to the extended, where we're going to dive deeper into what you need to do right now in order to move forward and align with your higher self. So that tangible advice, and I've got an advice card to pull for you at the very end. But first, I want to talk about this workshop that I have coming up. Oh, gosh. Dogs are freaking out right now. Anyway, I want to talk about this workshop that I have coming up, which is all about the secret to manifesting, which is embodiment. And, it's stepping into your power. It's, claiming what you desire by becoming it. We do the vision boards. We talk about the positive thinking and all of the tools that are important, but that's not going to get you what you want. They're going to help you reframe your mindset. They're going to help you tap into that belief system, but those things are not going to help you get what you want. What's going to help you get what you want is embodiment. And that's what this workshop is all about. It is going to be on Friday, April 25th at 6 p.m. Central Time. Any information for that is in the description, at the very top of the description box below. If you can't make it live, but you still wish to be a part of it, if you purchase a ticket, you will both receive access to the live event and also the recording that will be sent out the next day. So you don't have to be live in order to be a part of it. There will be a Q&A session if you do attend live, but if you don't, you will get a recording of that Q&A session. Otherwise, thank you so much, Taurus, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Taurus.